Euro currency saw big swings today, but ended up settling very close to unchanged near 109.50. Opening up this morning, we saw the euro moving lower down to 109.23 before rallying up to 109.75 and then closing very close to 109.50, as I said, close to unchanged. A lot of that having to do with the dollar. Prior to year end, we saw the euro trading around north of 111. And the dollar was lower. Obviously, the dollar's made a big move higher over the last week or so as Fed rate cut expectations have been shaped a little bit. Prior to year end, those rate cut expectations were at 100% of a 25 basis point rate cut at March FOMC. Today, those odds are closer to 70%, so we see it reflected in a higher dollar and a lower euro. Well, today things kind of went back and forth and ended up closing very close to unchanged at 109.50 again to start the week. Now, what does this mean for volatility? Well, check out that CVOL index over at cmegroup.com, and you'll notice that over the last week and a half or so, volatility has been moving higher as the euro has been moving lower. Today, we saw things relatively unchanged. We saw the volatility nudging ever so slightly higher, likely ahead of the key data that we have later this week via CPI and PPI in the US, as well as big bank earnings, and keeping an eye on that dollar, which today was also very close to unchanged. Lastly, let's talk about positioning. What are speculators doing? Well, as of last Tuesday, they were adding back to their net long positions. So they were buying back after recently exiting their net long positions. They were adding back. And this comes amid the fact that we saw the euro moving lower. Perhaps some expectations that the ECB may be looking to keep rates elevated for longer. Even as we see rate cut expectations decline from the Fed, we are seeing similar instances from the ECB. So we'll be interesting to keep an eye on that as we see prices fluctuate, how speculators respond. So opening up the week, we see the euro moving lower than higher and closing very close to unchanged ahead of very key data later this week via CPI and PPI here in the US.